Shabbat shalom, you guys. I am sitting here with an open window and a pumpkin candle burning, and I couldn't be happier. I actually found what I thought were oyster mushrooms, or what I think are oyster mushrooms, in the forest yesterday. So I foraged them and I took them over to the farmer's market to see if I could get anybody to identify them for sure. And I missed the mushroom people there for today, so I'm going to try to go tomorrow, but I might have found a pretty big score of oyster mushrooms that I'm pretty excited about. But don't worry, I'm not going to eat them until I can confirm. We're here for our weekend reading. We're going deeper into our reflective work, and I think it's kind of coming to a culmination, especially with that push from that Pisces full moon. Our cards every day this week have just been falling right into the storyline of the deep dive, the reflection, getting really clear on the changes that we want to make in ourselves and within our lives, and how our perspective about things is changing, and how we feel about things are changing, and how we're approaching life and approaching others is changing as well. And so we're seeing ourselves more clearly, and we're seeing where we have been lacking, and where we have been self-sabotaging and thwarting our own progress. But also we've been reflecting on how those decisions have affected us and our lives and others as well. So it hasn't been easy work. It might be very exhausting. So give yourself some time to rest this weekend. But with no further ado, our oracle cards from the Radiant Sun are Resistance, which is Mercury in Taurus, followed by Manipulation, which is Jupiter in Scorpio, followed by Resourcefulness, which is the Sun in Cancer, and finished with Vision, which is the Sun in Pisces. Interesting that the full moon in Pisces is the Pisces moon in direct opposition with the sun. So the sun is completely illuminating the moon. And so that is why full moons can bring things into light. They can bring things to the surface, including our revelation or epiphanies about things, or the culmination of things, because it's like the fullness of the light is shining onto a situation. We're getting the vision, right? We're seeing the big picture. We're finally seeing all the ways that we've been holding ourselves back, because underneath Resistance is 10 of Pentacles. Underneath Manipulation is 7 of Cups. Underneath Resourcefulness is 6 of Pentacles. And underneath Vision is the 3 of Swords. So yes, Resistance with 10 of Cups. It's like we're finally seeing through our own BS and seeing all the ways that we have sabotaged ourselves from getting what we want, or from living a life that's truly fulfilling and full of abundance and harmony. And so it's like we're getting past that defense mechanism that our ego builds up around us that causes us to refuse to see. And and I don't know if it's been like this for you, but for me, this self-reflective time it's required, even though there have been instances that have really presented themselves to me very clearly. It has required my participation and persistence to go deeper than the surface, to keep pushing, to keep sitting with it, even past when I feel like I'm getting antsy or angsty with it. It's like, keep with it, stay with it. Don't let your pride get in the way of seeing your own resistance to what is true fulfillment that wants to come in. And that fulfillment, it's like, it's not from outer things that we receive. It's from the inside. It's a feeling of serenity and peace and abundance and feeling secure and taken care of, no matter what the outer circumstances are. But it's like cultivated to such a degree that that's like your base vibration. And so it starts to create harmonious circumstances around you as well. So how have we been getting in our own way? How have we been resisting our own happiness, our own fulfillment? And it may be tied to, ways that the way that others have made us feel about ourselves, or maybe growing up, when we were talking about getting to the bottom or getting to the root of these like distant past wounds and limiting beliefs that we maybe have carrying over from childhood. It's like maybe we were, pushed to get in line and get along, and maybe there were levels of manipulation in order to get everybody to just cooperate and be easier, fit in with the group, fit into family expectation, fit into what's expected of you. And, people have different layers and levels of manipulation. We all do. It's like we have to really ask ourselves and push ourselves to look honestly, take an honest, candid look at what our motivations are for doing the things that we do. What are the motivations that we have for saying the things that we say to people? Are we aware of our own manipulative behavior? And also the fact that, some of this, like if you are super empathic, like there are a bunch of messages in these cards that it's like we need to be more empathic and more sympathetic to others, but also not to be overly empathic or sympathetic, because we can be manipulated and confused by other people who are coercively manipulative, I think is the word. But it's like putting up a boundary, like taking responsibility for your side of the street and not victimizing yourself at all, but also, being honest and fair, but not letting others run you over as well, or being aware of how others maybe have manipulated you in the past, and that gullibility has caused you to not, has kept you from getting what you want, because you were easily swayed into what other people wanted you to do, or what other people thought was right for you, or you wanted to please them, or you needed validation, or you didn't want to be abandoned, right? People can mean well. They can have the best interests for you and still be manipulative, There can be, I've seen parents do this with their kids where they're like, they want them to make a certain decision, and the child is being themselves and wanting to follow their own path, and the parent is like, well, that's what you really want then, and it's like, that's manipulation. You're trying to get someone to do what you want them to do because you have your own agenda, right? How many times did we abandon the self to please the parents, or because we were afraid we would be abandoned, So think about those things. And maybe, there have been times where you've gotten confused, or you've gotten something wrong. But yeah, just being aware of manipulative energy around that is confusing you, or that you are maybe falling prey to an illusion, right? Maybe, for instance, if you're an empath, you might attract narcissists, and they might be very charming and fill you full of fantasy and illusion, but they're really just manipulating you to get what you want, and they leave you with nothing. And this is like how you get in your own way, because you are falling for this manipulation. You need better boundaries, more consciousness, and you need to be stronger and more resourceful to pay attention to if your energy and your investment is being equally reciprocated, no matter what you're putting your effort and your investment in, right? Where did the little card go? The resourcefulness card is underneath the Six of Pentacles. And so, another part about the healing work is that as we heal these wounds, our focus is more honed in and it's less scattered in different directions of different defense mechanisms and self-sabotaging patterns that play out, that dissipate our focus and our energy and intention and keep us distracted from focusing on what's important, from focusing on our purpose, from focusing on getting what we want, because our ego is coming up with conflicting desires and inner conflicts that are at odds with what's in our best interest, right? And it's pushing it away. So we need to be resourceful as we are looking at what we will accept for ourselves and what is actually giving us equal reciprocation, whether it be investing in projects, time, in investments, jobs, friends, social circles, hobbies, romantic relationships. We need to be sure that we're putting in our resources, in our devotion, into something that's going to yield real value in return, long-term value, long-term fulfillment, not just short-term gain, short-term pleasure that dissipates immediately. I think I want to go back and read the oracle cards too, because there's so many layers of messages in the Radiant Sun Oracle that I think might be relevant. And they're so random and so specific. And then we have vision, the sun in Pisces. The Pisces full moon was all about making it clear to us what's in our spiritual best interests and getting in alignment with those values, getting our head, heart, and soul and strength in alignment with that and aligning our hearts with it. But also opening our eyes to see how these behaviors have hurt us and others, how they've affected our lives, how they've caused separation and pain and misunderstandings and arguments, and going back and feeling the pain of that enough, like as you reflect, that you're like, okay, it cost too much, it's not worth it ever. I would rather go forward and go slowly and be conscious rather than reach for instant comfort zone or instant gratification, or make a mistake or settle for something, or jump into something too fast or impulsively act out and wreck what I've built or what have you. It's like we're starting to see the cost of our unconsciousness, and we're starting to feel the weight and feel a sort of God-fearing and awe and appreciation for our responsibility to show up as a channel for the light, and the responsibility that we have as that, and to cherish that and to make it sacred, and also to cherish and make sacred the work that we've done for our own healing, for our own correction, for our own soul's progression, and not to take it for granted, and not to be reckless with that. Okay, so I'm gonna read so here's resistance. A statue of a bull made of stone remains rigid in a pose that is immovable and defensive. Behind, a shrub blows in the breeze and a parrot chatters meaninglessly. In the sky, the symbol of Taurus appears almost like another bird flapping its wings. Mercury is a symbol of change, Taurus, material values. For Mercury, Taurians, thinking and decision-making are closely allied to the practical, material, and common sense. Oh, there's also this theme about not holding yourself back from pursuing what you feel that your purpose is, because you think it's impractical, or because people don't approve of it, or maybe because that's not in tradition with how you grew up, or people won't get it, or they'll think it's weird, or whatever. Don't let that hold you back, but also be practical and be like pragmatic and shrewd about like business dealings and how you deal with your finances, and be wise about, you know, long-term savings and creating something from like a stable, good, solid foundation. Let's see. Oh yes, and this had to do with focusing the concentration. Focus on your dreams, on building your purpose, on what's really in alignment with that. And don't worry about dissipating your energies elsewhere. Okay, that's what I wanted to read out of that. The manipulation card, it also had to do with, it wasn't just negative. It had to do with, like, there's been a lot of themes lately with this deck coming up and telling us that, like, something about, like, we have an instinct about something that the zeitgeist wants or needs, like, that we can fill that gap. I just realized that when I lean over like that, it looks like I'm not wearing anything. And we kind of have our pulse, like, we kind of have our finger to the pulse, and like, we know something will be well accepted or liked, and we can speak about it in a convincing way. So Jupiter Scorpios expand and develop their lives through deep and passionate interests in psychology and mysticism, by which they explore the hidden secrets of life. The Jupiter Scorpio's passion for life's deeper subjects could develop into a strong interest in such things as life after death, reincarnation, or spiritualism. Legal work or business may attract them, and they do gain from other people's finances either through assistance or speculation. The ability to see and help develop other people's talents gives the Jupiter Scorpio personality good possibilities in counseling or some kind of management work. People with this planet sign aspect have the ability to discover other people's secrets, whether for altruistic or selfish reasons, and their magnetic and penetrating powers can be used almost hypnotically to achieve their objectives. So be careful about, like, there was this warning of the cups. It's like, in a way, it's like on the good side of this card, it's like you can see how to help people achieve their dreams, and you can see how to achieve your own dreams. You can vision this. You have this imagination where you can see it, and you can empathically tune in to what people will respond to. At the same time, on the dark side of that, either someone on the outside, or you could have the tendency to do this, or people do this to you, is that you charm people by understanding like what they are all about in order to get what you want from them. Like kind of a narcissistic player type, where they're like, they'll build you up, they'll take energy from you, they'll pretend to be what you are, they'll pretend to be what you like until they get high on all of your attention, right? And then it's like, it was all just a trick. It was all just an illusion. They weren't really that at all. It was just false, right? And so maybe that's, you fall for that. Maybe that's something that you have to be smarter and more aware of going forward. Or not doing that. Maybe that's something that you're guilty of doing. Otherwise, this card goes on to say they're good at counseling work or some kind of management work. People with this sun sign aspect or planet sign aspect have the ability to discover other people's secrets, whether for altruistic or selfish reasons, and their magnetic penetrating powers can be used almost hypnotically to achieve their objectives. Positively, Jupiter Scorpios could find themselves with the responsibility for helping others with their deepest problems. And this planet sign combination can produce the devoted entrepreneur who supports and encourages prodigies with unfailing work. On the other hand, these are people who can persuade and seduce with their enamorous charisma, leading others into whatever they desire. In a reading, this card may warn that one is following a false or manipulative person. Scorpio's natural rulership of the 8th house shows a benefit from an inheritance or heirloom. Okay, and then events, a difficult legal problem, persuasive promotion or propaganda for a person or project, detective work to prize out someone's secrets. So, okay, let's hope that we're not out there playing Perry Mason, getting up to detective work. Just stay in your own lane. Sun in Cancer. Resourcefulness. Emotionally sensitive and considers feelings to be of paramount importance. This card describes a powerfully nurturing person, and whether the question is related or relates or concerns to family, home, or business, the same caring qualities come into play. As people with this planet sign combination experience most things on an emotional level, decisions are based on how they feel rather than logic. So maybe in a way, it's like it's good to check in with how you feel, but we don't want to let your feelings control your decisions, because feelings change. They are, they can change based on, depending on how self-mastered you are in that area, on the changing circumstances of the day. That's why we're trying to build cause consciousness. But maybe, it's like, hey, moving forward, as you're learning and growing, try to weigh your decisions with wisdom and discernment, and not just making impulsive decisions based on your feelings. In a bleak landscape, a raven converts a discarded vase into a highly decorative home. It's almost like that symbolism of building the vessel, preparing the vessel, like, living in that affinity within the light. Sun Cancer people also have an excellent memory for past life events. The need for security is prominent for Sun Cancerians, and indeed this card defines a careful person who is happier with a little something put away for a rainy day. Someone with this planet sign aspect feels a strong need to collect and accumulate both objects and helpful people, and has difficulty in getting rid of things, just in case they come in handy. This shrewd and acquisitive talent is useful in business, in which the Sun Cancerian excels. Often people with this aspect expend time and energy in making the home a place of beauty and luxury. Such a natural feeling for property and its potential gives a head start in real estate matters. The Sun Cancer people put strong roots, and it takes a lot to move them once they've settled. When selected, this card suggests that family background is more important than usual, or family background is more than usually important. Inherited family traditions contribute much to the way in which the questioner lives, and those requiring sympathy, suspicion based on previous experience. So yes, maybe there's also this element of, maybe you have suspicion of someone based on your previous experience with them. Maybe you have suspicion of someone based on your previous experience with others, and maybe they're not guilty of the thing at all. Like, reevaluate these things. Is this your wisdom and discernment, or is this paranoia and suspicion unfounded? Let's see. Oh yes, and then the family background. Big family occasions, reunions, inheritance, paternal contact. So when this card is selected, it suggests that family background is really important. And that came up like twice. It's like, I feel like, don't hold yourself back because of a family approval, or because family won't approve or whatever. There's something maybe that is unique to you that you need to do that your family doesn't get, or it kind of goes against like your family's culture. But it may not be inherently wrong or wrong to you. It just may not be that they agree with this or understand it. And let's see, let's go to vision. Understanding, sympathy, and sacrifice. At the edge of the sea is an image of the sun half below the water. It is unclear whether it is rising or setting. A lynx follows the gaze of the sun. Above the single eye represents the inner eye of psychic vision. The Sun Pisces card describes the kind of person who is extremely sensitive to the thoughts and feelings of others. In many ways, the sympathy and feeling for others can easily seduce the Sun Piscean into becoming and doing whatever others want, right? So this is what we have to be careful of with the manipulation card. It's like we are very sympathetic, or maybe you are on the opposite side of this. Maybe you're the sympathetic one, but be careful. As super sympathetic, empathic people, it can be easy for others to sway them to do what they want, because you feel enmeshed and emotionally responsible for these people, because you feel things as if they were your own feelings when they're really other people's feelings. For an empath, it's really hard. It takes discipline and work to begin to distinguish all the things that you're feeling, because you can feel the energy around you. You can feel other people's energy. And it's not like it comes with a little ding, ding, ding. This is not yours. You're just feeling all this stuff and you don't know necessarily where it's coming from. So if you're an empathic person, like a deeply sensitive empath, you have to learn how to distinguish what are your feelings and what are other people's feelings. So let's see. In many ways, the sympathy and feeling for others can easily seduce the Sun Piscean into becoming and doing whatever others want, or becoming and doing what others want. The opposite side of the coin, however, is the pop star, fashion leader, or ad man who knows exactly how to tap into and exploit the mass feelings of the moment. The most Pisceans have a little of each quality in their makeup. One thing is certain, they're among the most imaginative people in the zodiac, and given the suitable outlet for this talent for daydreaming, they are made in life. With the sun in this sign, the Piscean the Piscean will is directed to exploring his or her own unconscious and imaginative resources. So again, we're exploring our unconscious, and we are exploring our imagination and our resources, and our imagination as a resource, as a creative tool. It seems that no matter how successful Piscean people become at making their own way in life, they have a strong need to give, look after, and make sacrifices for others. When this card is selected, the questioner may be dreaming of escape in the form of a long-distance voyage or other get-away-from-it-all activities. The Vision card may also indicate a new interest and very often some ability in psychology or in psychic research. It suggests that at some time in the future, the person asking the question may be involved with a large institution, and that service to others will provide great satisfaction, recognition, and fulfillment. So be sure to subscribe to this channel. Events: a sacrifice, a mystery or confusion of imagination and reality, a chance to escape, a miracle, situations in which one loses the plot. So this is like sort of a yin-yang situation here in this reading. It's like there's, on the one hand, there is, on one side of the coin, it's like all the ways that we've been deluded by our own self-deceit and the deceit of others, and our own misunderstandings and misguidedness, our own unconscious beliefs that have been self-sabotaging us, that we've been unable to see or unwilling to see until now. And so now it's all coming out into the surface. And so it's like once this comes into our awakening and our awareness, it's like the world is now our oyster. It's like we have all of these things and these resources and talents and purpose to give. It's just that all of this that we've been battling with has been dissipating our energies for decades, probably. So it's about now that we're aware of it, we can recenter and recalibrate and refocus and actually get past all of this to go forward towards our purpose and to use our talents and our purpose towards the higher good, and to be in that in alignment with that divine path for us. All right, you guys, I hope you have a good rest of your night. I am uploading also this evening the romance reading for the week as well. So I'll see y'all tomorrow for our Secret Teachings of Jesus. It'll be like after midnight tomorrow night on Saturday. Bye.